in being all well and good that you provide whatever help you can and assistance you can, where you can. That being said, will you be all right if you discover that there's nothing you can do?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I have no choice.
Can you, if you find that there is nothing you can do, if the individual is not willing to open up to different ways in which they can know they are an empowered being, we assume you're sharing these kinds of informational bits with them to the best of your ability, but if they can't open up to that concept that they are an empowered being, then you have to know that even though they think that of themselves or feel that of themselves, that if you look deeper, you will know they are an indestructible soul. And that what they are experiencing now is only going to be an infinitesimal part of the greater journey that that being is on. And that you don't have to view them as disempowered, because they are empowering themselves to experience disempowerment. Do you understand?
Yes.
It doesn't mean they cannot choose something else, but if they don't, being in a positive place within yourself when there is nothing else you can do to help someone is actually the most help you can give them, because you are seeing them as an indestructible soul. That will ultimately be just fine, no matter what they're going through now. So you can come from a higher level of compassion in that way that will actually give them the best vibration possible to match, even if they don't choose to match it. But you have to arrive within yourself at a point where you recognize that there may not be anything else that you can do, that you have done your best. Yes?
Yes.
And please understand that even if it seems like there's nothing else you can do for them, what it is the situation and circumstance has allowed you to do may actually be for the purpose of giving that to someone else for whom it will work. And they may have trained you by their refusal to be helped to actually give you the ability to help someone else, because they might be willing to change. And you will have developed the tools and the techniques and the conversations with this person who may not change in the way that you may require those tools and techniques and conversations for another person who will. And that brings you to the understanding that even this may be an orchestration for other people you have yet to meet. Is this making some sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Can it help you relax into the circumstance a little bit more easily?
I think it will. I think it allows me to realize I can't do anything else than what I'm doing, and I have to let go and let God. And
in a sense, you have to surrender to the control that's already there, that you already have, and not try to control it, but surrender to the control you already have. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help you?
It does. Thank you. And I just have one last question. Can you tell me how Adam, Ariel, and Adrian are doing?
They're doing fine, and that's all you're going to get right now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bashar and Willa.
Thank you. And she says you're welcome as well.
Hello, Tadeo.
I sensed you coming, Nania.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Do we have time for a few questions from Ustream listeners?
We do.
Okay. The first one is, you mentioned that there are other ships besides your own position above Sedona around the Earth.
Yes.
So where are the others located, and what is their purpose?
Again, like us, they are helping to adjust energy waves in certain vortices around your planet to aid and assist in easing the transformation and transitions that you are going through at this time, if you are willing to tap into the vibrational energy that we are flowing into those vortices, the grid of energy around your planet, to help balance out the transformational energy. Not only above Sedona, but above what you call Shasta, above what you call Haleakala, above what you call Fujiyama, above what you call Kilimanjaro, above what you call Everest, above what you call Chimborazo, above what you call many different areas on your planet. Yucatan, Glastonbury, Ayers Rock, one is directly above the Taj Mahal. One is above Crete. One is directly above the Eiffel Tower. One is directly above the White House. One is directly above the Kremlin. One is directly above Cairo. One is directly above the North Pole. One is directly above the South Pole. One is directly above the center of Mongolia. One is directly above Beijing. One is directly above Mexico City. One is directly above La Paz. One is directly above Black Rock. You call this the carved heads. You call it Mount Rushmore, but it is Black Rock. These are the ones of my society. There are hundreds more from other civilizations.
What other civilizations?
Some Pleiadian, some Sirius energy, some Yael, some other civilizations we will not go into at this time.
What is the race of our hybrid children called?
They are still deciding if they should have a name. For now, they are simply your children.
Do the children connect with the beings that are in the positions you're describing?
Sometimes, some of them, not all.
What would be the purpose of that connection for them?
The purpose would be germane to each child.
Right. Like what kinds of beneficial experiences?
If they wish to feel the vibration of a certain vortex on the earth to gain familiarity with the energy of the area that they might ultimately land in and live in, or at least visit, or practice in, acclimating to your society in.
Similar to us going and visiting a foreign land and being imbued with the vibration of that location.
Yes.
And so, is there a way that we can act as conduits for the children to see through our eyes?
You can by being in those locational vortices and thinking of them and opening up to their arrival.
Yeah, and we can engage with them in playful ways.
Yes. It is up to you to use your imaginations in this and your permission slips.
But always wondered about that, like other beings, do they sometimes look through our eyes, especially if we're having...
In a manner of speaking. In other words, they match certain frequencies that give them the same perspectives that you have. That's what looking through your eyes means. It doesn't mean they're literally in your head looking through your physical eyes.
Yeah, it's more like if you come to a scene and something is so incredibly beautiful and you just want all of creation, I guess, to enjoy this amazing
And
thing
those that
you're
wish
seeing.
to tap into that vibration will, and they will have a similar perspective and a similar experience, of course, in their own terms.
I get the feeling it's almost like that's a natural component of creation.
It is.
That there are others that will enjoy the scene too, either, but it's not like they tap into your mind. I mean, how
No,
does
they
it
match your
work?
frequency.
And then they're seeing
Then they have
the
their own
same
version of the
thing
experience.
that
Yes.
you're seeing.
Well, not identical, but
yeah.
their own version.
Right.
It can be sometimes so similar you can't tell the difference, but sometimes it can be very different. But it's
Because-
the experience they need to have of that.
Because basically it's a frequency of information that's coming to the person in a sense.
Yes.
And the other person
Because
will
everything is
see.
information.
Right. So the other person's mind will create a version of it, just like in a dream, where
Yes.
we translate experiences we're having on another level
Yes.
into symbols that we can understand here, but it's not a
Yes.
one-on-one necessarily.
Correct.
So, and that's very connecting to realize that when you're in a state where you're perceiving amazing, unique, beautiful things about Earth, that there are others that can share in that. And
Yes. And the children wish to remind all of you that everything is a symbol.
would you care to elaborate on that? You mean everything is, yes.
Everything
yes.
is a symbol.
Because it's all just energy.
a reflection.
Yeah.
That's all. Everything is a symbol.
And that's why we're responsible for the dream that we're dreaming, right?
And symbols are a language. If you understand that everything is a symbol, you will understand how to speak the universal language.
But it's always about how you interpret the symbol that you're looking at.
Of course. But there is a universal component to it. That is the same for everyone, everywhere, every when.
Like?
It is the core vibration of all that is. That is always at the center of every symbol. And when you understand how to read the symbols that are your own reflections, you will understand how to tap into the universal language. And the universal language is the vibration that you call unconditional love.
Oh. Huh.
It is actually a language. It is a vibrational language. You can learn to actually speak it, in a sense. You can learn to express the universal language.
Just by understanding the symbols that you create in your reality and how to relate to them.
Yes, and tapping into the core of each symbol, which is the source.
Okay. The primary frequency of existence.
Yes.
So how that would relate to like seeing something beautiful and unique, that would put you in a high vibrational state when you're having that experience.
Yes,
and
but
then,
it doesn't put you in the state. You choose the state.
because of the way you're interpreting.
So that you can have the experience. Remember, it's the other way around. You have to be in the state to have the experience. I know that in your linear reality, sometimes it looks like the thing itself puts you in the state, but it doesn't really. You have to be in the state. You have to choose the state to have the experience, which can then reinforce the state, in a sense, by reflectivity. But you actually have to be in the state to have the experience. And it is that understanding that will transform and revolutionize your reality.
So the idea that we're kind of wired for a certain kind of beauty, like they did that kind of research where they saw that the human brain responds to certain kinds of patterns in a way that is experienced as perceiving beauty.
Yes, and that's just the beginning. You have just touched the surface of that.
So in
You
terms
have
of
no idea how deep the beauty goes yet.
because we're limited in how deeply we feel the connection with ourselves.
There is a saying that exists on your planet among some of your early physicists that went something like this with respect to the discipline known as quantum mechanics. The saying, to paraphrase, goes like this. If when you study quantum mechanics, if you are not utterly stunned and boggled, you didn't understand it. So the idea here is, and again, it doesn't always have to be expressed exactly literally this way, but you'll get the idea as a metaphor, at least. If you tap into the inexpressible love and beauty of creation, you would simply fall to your knees and burst out crying and laughing simultaneously. And that's when you know you get it. Because everything that you think is real will collapse into that moment, and you will finally understand what reality really is. How's that sound?
That sounds really good. I was just realizing that even if people have had that experience momentarily, let's
Yes.
say, that they may diminish it later by going, oh, it doesn't last, or,
Yes.
whatever. But what you're actually saying is that is the frequency, and there's nothing worth more
Yes.
than
And
experiencing
it
that
always
frequency.
lasts in different forms because everything is made out of source. So even if it appears not to last, it is still lasting, but in a different form.
Right, right.
And again, when you wrap your mind around that and truly understand it and know it to be true, that's when you have the experience of allowing yourself to consciously orchestrate the way you use it and recognize it in all of its forms. Yes?
Yes, that's a much more positive way to interpret these kinds of ecstatic, amazing experiences, to really be able to fully appreciate what you've been given.
Yes. It seems that you are approaching the timing for your holotope experience.
It does seem like that, doesn't it?
It does. Therefore, we will allow you to take a short break, after which Willow will take you through your holotope meditation for planting the seed of the 5 levels of mastery. Enjoy a short break. How's it going?
Yeah.
All right, let us say we will continue the transmission in the following way. But before we facilitate Willa for the meditation, we would like to expand a little bit on the transmission that she will be delivering tomorrow of your time, called the Winter Spirit. Because this idea will not only delve into the concept of nature spirits in general, but also specifically that there is a literal winter spirit, an elemental being that she will go into and describe to point out to you that that being historically is the beginning of what you understand for your Christmas season to be Santa Claus. So she will give you the history of this and how it evolved in the way that it has in your society, and explain to you the relationship that exists 700 of your years in the future to that being at that time. For it is very different than what you now experience during your holiday season. We will then now allow for the shift and the facilitation Enjoy your meditation. Are y'all having a good time then?